Manchester City are moving mad here, lads. So we've seen all the links with Manchester City and Buadi, who they're still working on. We've seen the links with Manchester City and McAllister. We know that they've signed Elliot Anderson. Here's another one for you. Fabrizio Romano has said, Manchester City already made contact with Enzo Fernandez camp, but the deal depends on Chelsea's valuation. Chelsea are asking for a £120 million fee and would be happy to keep Enzo. Manchester City hope to negotiate as the deal depends on price. So you've got our rivals there who also have a new coach, who've just gone out and brought in Elliot Anderson, and then they're trying to bring in another top quality central midfielder. They went in, they got Mark A and Antoine Semenyo in the January window before that. And again, we're supposed to believe as fans that we're set up for the season and we're going to be able to go in there and compete. It's madness. It's madness. How are you, bro? Said, remember the journalist saying Liverpool will spend again this summer. Even Slot was saying there would be lots of squad change. Yeah, there was lots of reports that said Liverpool are going to have a busy summer. Well, it hasn't been busy so far, and we've 3 weeks to go to the day. So, yeah, every day that goes by at this point, it again becomes a bigger problem. Bransfield said, hey Craig, I read somewhere that Liverpool would be willing to walk away from the Barcola deal if PSG don't lower the price and stand firm on 145. Again, that's the dance, isn't it, mate? That's the brinksmanship. I'm sure, because if you look at it from both sides, right, you've got Liverpool maybe saying that, and then you've got PSG saying, well, we're going to include him in the Super Cup squad, and he's still our player, and we're happy to keep him. But again, in all of this lies Bradley Barcola. And PSG aren't stupid. We know what's going on here. They're getting in their players and then Barcola will move. What I never understand, though, is why everyone leaves these things so late. Liverpool know they need Barcola. PSG know we need Barcola. And I've said this all the way through the summer. The longer it goes, the more difficult it is, in my opinion, to try and get a good deal in these negotiations because your desperation's ratcheting up. And if we don't get him, I don't even want to think about it. But I do think we get him. But on the walking away thing, I think that's brinksmanship, to be honest with you, mate, more than anything. Lola and Anfield Index said, a source on Doué broke Welbeck to Chelsea. Well, as I said, I'll have to defer to our friends at Anfield Index there. I don't have the intel on it. So I'll have a watch to see what Lola said and I'll drop them a message and see what they're hearing on it, but I don't have anything that I can add to that conversation. But what I would say is, if we're looking at Doué as a right back, cool. That's another position that would certainly be ticked off the problem list for us. So I hope her information is spot on, and hopefully we see Liverpool moving for a right back. But even at that, right, why so late? Why so late in the window? I understand that overseas squad places and all this stuff has to be kept, but you can free up some of these squad places fairly easily. Chiesa, get rid of him off the squad list. Ramsey, get rid of him off the squad list. There's 2 places freed up immediately of the overseas places. And we're not really losing anything there, are we? So for me, do something like that and just get the fuck on with it rather than constantly just dicking about and leaving until the end, because every day the manager's not working with the players is another day we're playing catch-up, and we're already playing catch-up fitness-wise and with minutes for players in pre-season. And we know we've lots coming back from injury as well. So add in all of that, and it's almost a recipe for a slow start to the season. Rich Baldy, how are you, bro? Always a pleasure. Said, we're leaning too much on Bradley, Leone, Frimpong, Xhaka, Chimicas' defensive solution with Araujo rotating. We're taking too many risks, mate. If the right back situation is resolved and somebody comes in, that is a huge weight off. Because right now, what we have is Frimpong. He's the right back option right now. Maybe Ramsey at a push, but nobody knows if he's good enough or not. And he hasn't really been given too much minutes in pre-season. And also lots of links with him going to move. And he's got 1 year to go in his deal. So yes. And also, we can't play this hypothetical game where all of a sudden we think, okay, Bradley's going to come back and not be injured anymore. Because we've got no reason, logically, to think he won't suffer more injuries. Because his career, unfortunately, to this point has been beset with injuries. I don't think it's jumping the gun to roll that dice and, again, expect Gomez to stay fit. He won't. Expect Bradley to stay fit. He won't. And then a lad coming back from an ACL. Again, you can talk to anybody you want in sports science and they'll tell you that secondary injuries coming back from something like that happens quite a bit. So yeah, I don't know. All I know is that it isn't good enough. Ramsey is a foreign player. Again, if you're going to come at me with information, be correct about it. Calvin Ramsey doesn't count as homegrown. He doesn't. So he is on the overseas list. And we talked about this the other night when we said that there was lots of talk when Araujo was coming in from the Echo and journalists that Ramsey was going to be the one sacrificed for that space. So he isn't counted as homegrown. Luke said, I saw today that Leverkusen signed Medina from Marseille. Could that spell a potential return for Kwanzaa? What's your thoughts? Not this summer. No, there's absolutely, unless something's happened today inside Liverpool, there's no way that's happening. And also, Liverpool don't have a release clause for this summer now on Kwanzaa, so they wouldn't be able to just take him. That release clause has expired. If I remember right, I think it was the end of June, Liverpool had for this year for the release clause, and then it kicks in again next year at a lower price. So maybe they're thinking longer term and looking to replace him, but it won't be this summer and it won't be Liverpool. Araujo can play right back. He doesn't though. Like, look at how many times he's played at right back. Soboslai's played more games at right back than Ronald Araujo. So if you want to buy into that myth from the club and the journalists to just try to make you feel better, crack on. But he hasn't had much experience at right back. He's a centre back. That's the truth of it. So, Bryn said, hey, I'm flush this week, so send in super chat. Thank you, man. That's very kind of you. Sometimes I agree with you, sometimes I disagree with you, but I'm always entertained by you. Thank you. You know what? I really appreciate that, because the fact that you do disagree with me on things, like in the modern world, the amount of times I see people in life say, I disagree with this person on this thing, therefore that person is a bad guy to me, or that person is an arsehole to me. I disagree with my best mates passionately about stuff all the time, but they're still my best mates and I still love them to bits. So I'm so glad, mate, that you're open to that, because the amount of times you'll see people coming in and going, I hate you because of this, and I'm just like, okay, what about the 99.99 other percent of me or me time? So yeah, look, if we can disagree, that's okay, but hopefully we can always talk it through. And that's what I tried to do on here. Is I will always have time for anyone who's respectful and has a difference of opinion in a genuine way, but I'll never put up with people just shouting at me, my man. So appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support, and of course for the generosity with the super chat as well. Hey Craig, Barcola, Wharton and Bay in the window at a 10. Seven? Yeah, I think 7. Because we'd still be short of a right back there. So bringing a right back, that pushes it up to 8. But without a right back, look, I'd be happy with Wharton in, don't get me wrong. I'd have no issues with Wharton coming in. Mbaye, again, exciting young talent. I would have a bit of a concern if we lost Gakpo for experience from the attack. But that's a personal thing. Yeah, that'd be a good window, mate. But again, not much building out done in that window. But it certainly would be more pleasurable than where we currently are. So I'd give it a 7. Paul said, I expect Kelleher to re-sign next summer, as Ali will probably leave and we'll need 2 top keepers, but Kelleher will expect to be number 1. I don't know, have any... I'd love that to happen. Let me say that firstly. 2 things in the back of my mind about the goalkeeper situation. One, I, like you, I'm not ready to say Georgie's the guy to come in and be the number 1 keeper. Secretly, I'm hoping Alisson stays a bit longer, if I'm being honest with you. But of course, that could depend on his want, and it could also depend on his fitness for the season. If Alisson starts to pick up some more injuries throughout the year, I think then there's no more argument about whether this is going to keep recurring or not. It will. So if he doesn't, I'd love him to stay a bit longer. And I think as a goalkeeper, he certainly has 2 or 3 more years at the very top. But what I would say is Armin Petchy is one to keep an eye on as a goalkeeper. I don't know when he'll be ready to come in and be a number 1, but he's a very good young goalkeeper, and I have high hopes for him in the long term. But what the long term is, yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that one. But for Georgie, I don't know. Some people are a bit more critical of him than I am, because I've not really seen him make too many mistakes. Like somebody tried to say the other day in the comments that he was at fault for the goal. Was it the third goal for Monaco, the one where he palmed it back in and then the player scored on the rebound? I mean, I think he made a good save in the first place. And yes, ideally you don't want to palm the ball back into play, but it was point blank stuff. He couldn't really direct it, and the defence made a mistake. So yeah, never understand why we sold Kelleher, other than obviously his desire to want to be a number one. But to not try to negotiate a buyback option in there seems scandalous. Nessie said, "Hey Craig, hope you're in well, mate. Nothing is surprising anymore. We've forgotten that a good defence won us those trophies, not just the goals." Yeah, and that's been our Achilles heel for many, many years, since I've been watching Liverpool anyway. Like, we've been blessed with great attackers all the way through my time supporting the club. But the defence has been the Achilles heel so many times. And obviously Virgil came in and put that right for us, as did Alisson Becker. But I just keep coming back to this one thing. You let Canade walk out the door for free and you're not looking to replace him. Like Araujo on a loan, I'm okay with. But I'm just getting tired of having to try to mentally twist my thoughts into justifying a lack of business. It is depressing, because you wake up, you look at the internet, and you see so many stories about Liverpool's valuation and all the people that want to invest in it and all this stuff. And then you're just thinking, well, why aren't we fucking seeing it on the pitch? Like, why aren't we able to do what City are doing or what Chelsea are doing? Why is it always with Liverpool there is a caveat to, we're one of the wealthiest clubs in the world, the club's now worth infinitely more than it was when FSG bought it, everybody's great, but here's the excuse as to why we can't see that invested into the squad. At some point we just have to say enough is enough. Enough is enough. Mike said, "We're the only big club where the owners keep weakening us every year. We win the league, sell loads, buy nobody and struggle, and FSG just need to go." So look, I agree on the squad management. There's lots of pluses and positives about what FSG have done. Lots and lots of them. But you can't just ignore the squad. And you can't ignore the issues we've had season after season after season. And the common denominators are the owners. So sporting directors will come and go. But ultimately, these are the guys with the purse strings. And yeah, like, there are things they could have done to offset some costs this summer, but they haven't done any yet. Like 11 players out of contract. Nobody's going to convince me we can't sell 5 or 6 of them to bring in even a combined 40 or 50 million quid. And that couldn't be used then to go and strengthen with a player that has a future. You know, and again, as a club, we're again told every penny counts. Well, they've shit the bed with Elliott. That cost the club at least 20 million quid. All these things aren't logical. Now, one thing I forgot to mention yesterday about Ronald Araujo is, and forgive me for just forgetting to mention it, there's no loan fee included in that one. So Araujo took a wage cut to come to Liverpool, as was reported by, I think, David Lynch and a few others. So well done to them on that, great reporting. But also Liverpool did not pay a loan fee to Barcelona. So that is one positive, I guess,